Hello, my beautiful friends. Today I was thinking about something that affects all of us at some stage in life. Um, Excuse the jacket. I literally had a bike ride and, I didn't have the time to change into my outfit. But yeah, the important thing is getting the message out to all of you. So, yeah. So today I was thinking about how people will push you, literally, in any kind of relationship, in any kind of capacity that you work with them or deal with them or are associated with them. So people will push you sometimes just to test you and just to gauge who you are and who you stand for and what you will do in any scenario. For example, a person might just test you to see what your values are and would you fall for something that is a low frequency, low vibing thing that and I have noticed that in all of my relationships. And it's true, like we as humans, we are designed to push our boundaries, basically. I'm guilty of that. Hopefully not in the future. I don't consciously do it, but maybe I do it unconsciously, where I'm not even aware of the fact that I'm testing a person for whatever reason. But I have noticed that people will do it to you. And what would it look like? It might look like a boss trying to throw you in a deep end with unrealistic expectations from you, and then just to see how you would react. So in that scenario, I would always, in any scenario, the whole thing is about operating, working with, and showing up as your true self, and showing up with the values and the beautiful beliefs that you have, or the things that you stand up for. So always operate through that, because there's no other way, basically. I mean, if you're going to fall for something, then you're going to fall for anything. And that's a beautiful quote I learned when I was a teenager, and I loved it so much. If you don't stand for anything, you're going to fall for everything. And that stands true. We, in this life, we are so busy trying to please people, trying to conform to the status quo, trying to, make sure that, everyone's okay with us. But what about you? What do you stand for? How do you feel in a scenario? What are your limitations? When is it that you say no? When is it that you fall back and, take your energy back and take your efforts and the love back that you're giving to situations which are not fulfilling you? So my friends, unfortunately, a lot of the times people will test you just to see how far they can take their behavior or their expectations off of you. So just being mindful of that. So in a scenario where a boss throws you in a deep end, you have every right to say, I'm not at that capacity where I can handle that situation or handle that workload. Be optimistic about yourself. Yes, I know that, but in saying that, don't be a victim to people testing you and people trying to push your boundaries. No. If a boss is having unrealistic expectations of you, just, turn around and say, look, I'm dealing with this. When I'm done with this, then of course I can look into that. So just be truthful to yourself and other people about what you are capable of. Because there's nothing worse than saying yes to anyone. It doesn't matter if it's your boss or your family or friends, to say, yeah, I can make that a commitment, or yeah, I can, do certain things when you're not even mentally or physically ready to do something like that. Yeah, if it's something you are capable of course, you should do it. But if something that you're struggling with, just say no. Unfortunately, in a lot of situations, your own family members will try to test you as well, just to see how far they can go with the situation or with a request or something that does not align with you. So I need you to start thinking about what kind of things or expectations have been demanding a part of you that you're not willing to give. And friends, let's be real. We're living this life ourselves, No one else is living it for us. We are capable and spiritual and deeply impactful beings where people will test us a lot of the times. Our children, our bosses, our co-workers, our friends, a lot of the times, sometimes they will expect us to do things that they unfortunately are not even capable of even imagining to do it themselves. And I've seen it a lot of the times. They will ask of you, to demand you to do certain things that they know that they can't even do. And sometimes they don't know. I mean, of course, it's subjective. It's sometimes people don't even know if they're capable of certain things or not. I mean, it's all about self-awareness. I understand that. But in saying that, if you know that you're struggling with something or even have a doubt about something, even if you're doubtful, I want you to say no. Just say, let me think about it. Let me assess it. Let me ponder on it. And then I'll get back to you. Never, ever, ever respond to urgent requests, unless, of course, it's something that you have to do, like picking up your child or like dealing with the emergency situations. I'm not saying that. But always, always give yourself the time to think about any kind of request that's been asked of you. Never just say yes because you don't want to be making the other person uncomfortable. No. What are you going to do about it? What you're going to do is take a pause, think about it, and then take the action that is aligned with you. So, for example, back in high school, just giving my example, I came late into a semester. I was away for some reason, and I came into the class late into the semester, and the teacher asked of me to finish a group project, which I knew was taking my friends at least 1 month to do, and I had a week to do all that. In that scenario, I said yes, of course. Like, what would a 15-year-old know about, standing up for herself and things like that? I mean, now I know, but back then I didn't know. So I said yes. And, I've worked so hard. I worked so hard for that 1 week that I wasn't sleeping very well. And then it was reflecting in my attitude with other people. I was too tired. I was neglecting my rest and food and nutrition and any other obligations. So what happened was, the day that a group assessment was due, I presented it, but then the next day we had a family reunion, a gathering of some sorts, and I was so tired and I was looking horrible. There were bags under my eyes, and I was feeling horrible, and that made me realize that I should have spoken to the teacher and said, hey, that I started this term really late and I need that extension, and if it meant that I got 20% less or 50% less markdowns that they would say, I would have to do it. So basically, what we need to start doing is to look at a situation, at our capabilities and things that are willing to do or not, and say no sometimes, or ask for extension, or say that, yeah, I am free, however, I'm not free this weekend, or yes, I am free after 2 weeks. Let's go for a coffee after that. So it's really, really important that we are looking out for ourselves and not falling into the trap of people pleasing and caving in when you have been asked or bullied. Sometimes, sadly, it's not a nice world. Sometimes there are beautiful, lovely people out there, but there are people out there, they are actually really don't have the right intentions. Unfortunately, we are living in a world. I'm someone who grew up thinking that everyone thought like me, everyone was nice, and everyone had pure intentions, but it's not the case. I learned the hard way that a lot of the times people don't have the right intentions, and you have to really assess yourself, assess the situation, see the patterns in a person. For example, if your boss has a pattern of doing that to you, or your colleagues, you know there's a pattern. You can see it bright as day. And it's the same as your friends. If your friends have a pattern of making fun of you in front of other people, making fun of your other friends in front of everyone else, you know there's a pattern of narcissism, or holier than thou, that they know better than you kind of thing. You know it's a pattern, basically. And once you realize something is a pattern, then you act accordingly. You would then place that friend in a different category where they are able to you are able to respond in the similar manner that you've been asked. If you've been asked something unrealistic, or someone's making fun of you for no reason, or you don't like something, you call it out straight away. You say, hey, that's not very nice, I don't like it. It doesn't matter how they feel, that's their problem. Because if they are strong enough, confident enough to make fun of you or ask of you of something that's ridiculously, that you would deem impossible or ridiculous, then you have to call it out. You say, no, that's not fair, that's not funny, I don't like it. No. So friends, I'm at that stage of life where I don't make friends who treat me like that, or associate closely with people who have a pattern of that kind of abusive, or belittling or demeaning behavior. I'm at that stage, of course, but back when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, I had no guidance. I had no idea of what people are capable of, or what or the fact that people are not the same as you. So you might have the purest of intention, you might come with a loving heart, you might say the nicest thing from your heart to other people, but if the people's hearts or their soul are not aligned, they will never act in that aligned manner like you will. So there are people out there, sadly, who are not that kind or responsible, or their souls are not aligned like yours or mine. So I want you to start discerning. I made a video about discernment. Please do watch it. Discernment is a very good skill for us to operate in this world, in this life, any kind of social or even spiritual dimension that we need to work with. So I need you to start mindful of what discernment is and how to act with authority. With that, I'll leave you. Bye.